Hello everyone, today I am talking about Sonic Heroes. So here's an interesting kind of scenario. I thought that, I think after this, the American office kind of shut down or something for Sonic Team. And so now they were kind of reinventing how this game was going to, or the series was going to function. So they kind of looked at their big cast of characters and said, okay, let's grind this down to a few key ones. And what I really miss, honestly, from this to Adventure 2 is that Adventure 2 had a lot of very well integrated story and a lot of, lore and things happened, and it was just so fast paced, not only in terms of its gameplay, but it's also its story and its events and structure and everything. And this is, again, this is the closest thing to Adventure 3 we're going to get, basically. But it's much more simplified. It's basically Metal Sonic has taken over and basically betrayed Eggman, and basically you are sent in to, again, defeat Eggman. And again, they kind of go back to the Adventure 1 formula in the sense that you're now kind of replaying all the same levels, but just as different people. So now you have 4 teams, and so now you all work in tandem. So you have, for Sonic, you have speed. For Tails, he has flight, and Knuckles has power. And so these are the 3 main things that are used throughout the game. They're obviously different from the way Adventure 2 operates, and so instead of having separate gameplay styles for each character, you basically have the same gameplay style, slightly varied for each one. The really cool thing, though, I think, is they introduced Team Blast. So that's when you kind of build up your meter by doing combos, and you unleash this kind of AoE effect that destroys everything around you. And it's super cool, actually. I love it. They also included this upgrade system where every time you pass a checkpoint or you can pick them up, you basically activate this thing, which gives the character a level up, and they can go up to level 3 for each stage. And it's also interesting that as you go through the level, when you switch characters using X and Y, for example, Sonic, he'll be in a straight line, basically. And so there's certain paths where you want them in a straight line. When Tails, the kind of goes vertically, and he's carrying all 3 of them, and you have a little fly meter that depletes as you take them up vertically. And then as Knuckles, they kind of go in a triangle formation. So as you're going through loop-de-loops that have triple pathways, if you're in the Knuckles formation, you'll get 3 times as many coins on the other sides, basically. This game definitely is very fast, and I definitely do enjoy it. It's definitely traditional to the Adventure formula, but it just lacks, again, kind of the I don't know, because you're operating 3 characters at once, it kind of dilutes the experience somewhat. However, I will say it makes up for it in terms of the banter that takes place during the levels is actually very fun. And so Sonic Team has their Sonic Blast. Then Team Dark, you have Shadow Rouge and Omega, who's introduced as like one of the robots who obviously turned against Eggman. It's funny that we didn't see any of Eggman's robots until like the end in Adventure, and then in Adventure 2 we really saw none of Eggman's robots, just Eggman himself. And then Adventure 3 we also have this new style of Eggman robots where the short, dumpy kind of orange designs, and that kind of stays the staple in the series for a little while. But you see the personalized robot Omega as one of these robots who rebels against Eggman. And again, to a traditional Sonic formula, you now have 1 stage with 2 zones, and with escalation and difficulty. And the second stage usually more puzzles and things like that. And again, what I also found is that in Adventure 2, you had a map which showed you where all the events were taking place. Okay, it's not a hub world, which is something I don't think we want. But at the same time, it made sense where everything was taking place. Like, you could see the world map and what was going on in it. And this one, everything feels a little bit more disconnected. They don't really care. You have this whole canyon level. You have a the sky level, you have the ocean level, and it doesn't really matter where things are taking place in the world. So there's less attention given to the world overall, which is fine, I guess, but I still prefer that thing. They also have a lot of new moves now. Sonic can do like these wall dashes. He can use something called Sonic Wind to basically go up these poles and accelerate into unreachable areas. If Tails shooting Sonic and Knuckles as balls, you have Knuckles taking Sonic and Knuckles and throwing them, and it's really fun actually. So when you do upgrade them, Sonic increases his speed and his homing attack power. Tails increases how many enemies he hits when he throws Sonic and Knuckles. And for Knuckles, when he increases his attack, he basically has a combo thing, which makes a stronger and bigger AoE, and it is so cool to see. There are also a lot more areas in this game where you'll have to just defeat enemies to unlock springs and to continue down the path of the game. Again, I really like the speed in this game and how it's done. Of course, another big thing, the music. The music in this game is amazing. The music for, what was it? The Metropolis area, for, Team Dark's main theme. The I Am Machine, or the fire inside the machine. I forget exactly what it's called. I love that song. Oh my god, it's so good. And then besides Team Dark, so the big difference is for Sonic, when you play as him and his team, it's basically trying to get to the end of the mission as fast as possible. When you're Team Dark, you have to destroy a certain amount of enemies. When you are Team Rose, which is Amy, Cream, and Big, and which is a huge thing. I think this is the first time Cream has showed up in a game, and Big makes a return of all people. For their levels, you basically have to you're basically either finding Cream or Chicola, and you're either finding Froggy or Chicola, and so Cream also has like a Chow friend, 2 Chow friends, which I think are. No, she has her friend Chicola, and so you basically are just finding them or you're tracking down Sonic. But the Team Rose stages are super like jokes. Like you basically get invincibility all the time. I don't know, I guess they kind of thought the girls might choose this team, so therefore they made them super easy, which I find very funny. And then you have finally Team Chaotix, so a reintroduction of some old Sonic characters into this universe. You have Vector, Charmy, and Vector. Sorry, Espio, Charmy, and Vector. And it's really interesting how these characters essentially function as detectives. And so their backstory is actually pretty funny. When Sonic starts his story, they literally get a letter from Eggman saying he's planning on conquering the world. Do you think you can stop my fleet? And Sonic's like, yes. And he just goes and does it. For Team Dark, it's a lot more interesting. So in this game, basically, we thought that Shadow was defeated in Sonic Adventure 2, but it turns out he was in this pod this whole time, and he comes back to life, basically, while Rouge is looking for one of Eggman's top secrets. And so they form a team, and of course, E123 Omega activates, stopping Rouge from, or trying to defeat her. And so the three of them decide to team up, and basically, Rouge wants to find out about Eggman's treasure. Shadow wants to find about his identity, and E123 Omega kind of wants revenge on kind of leaving him here in the dust. So Team Dark's story is much more interesting comparatively to the rest of them. So Sonic's pretty straightforward. Team Rose, again, they just want to find people. Big is looking for Froggy. Cream is looking for Chicola, and Amy's looking for Sonic, and they just have their silly little adventures, basically. Their silly female adventures. And for Team Chaotix, it's interesting. Eggman, well, what happens is an anonymous messenger comes and asks for them to investigate the Eggman, carrier bot and his army, and to basically find out what is going on. And I won't say spoilers, but Team Espio gets in kind of way over their head. And so the way the Team Chaotix levels turn out is basically you have to find 10 items hidden throughout the stage, And so those tend to be the most tedious ones of all. Those are probably my least favorite ones of the game for sure. It's funny though that each character or each team has its own different, final attack or final smash or what have you, or the team blast. So Sonic, he basically, has them throw him and he does his big, attack all around. For Team Dark, they basically have Omega do this giant beam combined with Chaos Control. For Team Rose, they basically have this, I don't know, Japanese themed little like dance that they do that kills everything. And for Team Chaotix, they rock out and they play a rock song basically, and it sounds so bad it kills everyone around them. So similar to Kirby, actually, now that I think about it. So there's a lot of very fun interactions and styles in this game, and the music is really great. The music is super, super fun. The music for the stages pretty much stays the same. The objectives change, the layout of the level changes a bit, but for the most part, it feels like you're kind of doing almost the exact same thing. But regardless, the levels are very fun. I will have to say though, immediately, this game has one of my favorite levels and level designs of all time, which is the Egg Fleet. I don't know what it is about a giant fleet of ships and diving into them one by one and blowing them up like a giant armada. And then you have these little mini games where you go into like the belly of the ship and you run through like the main core reactor and the whole thing explodes. I love that so much. And the music, the gameplay, the style, everything about it is fast, furious, and fun. And I just, oh my god, it's so good. There are also very funny levels in this. Like there's the spooky haunted mansion level. I love, besides the Egg Fleet, probably the Grand Metropolis was also my favorite. Another thing I remember someone once told me, I read this online, it was my first experience with the internet is lying to you, is that if you got all A rank on every single level before the game hit 100 hours, you would unlock Team Metal Sonic. And I legitimately believe them. It's like one of those things like kids tell you at school. But I thought, oh yeah, no, that makes sense. It's like I realized I'm at 90 hours, so I need to get the last thing, as a kid. And I remember like hitting that all A rank for everything, and wondering, hey, where's Team Metal Sonic, and realizing it's not real, and thinking, oh man, I got robbed. Yeah, I don't know. That's one of the first times I encountered something like that, which I think is pretty funny. Again, I like how these games are designed to be like fast and furious and not really, take a lot of your time. They're supposed to be these things that, you remember for a while, but are easy and fast to beat. And again, similar to the past Sonic games, once you do everyone's main kind of story, then you can do the final story and find out the final big bad and figure out what's going on. And I have to say, oh my god, the final boss fight for this game is just ingrained into my personality as a person. I think I already said this about my Sonic Adventure 2 review, but this is also one of the best boss fights of all time, not only because you have What I'm Made Of playing, which I think is just an absolutely killer song, but also the fact that like the style of the fight itself is, you have a multi-stage fight. You have the friggin' guy throws egg carriers at you, and you use Knuckles' powers to smash entire egg carrier. Like the escalation of this event is just insane. I absolutely adore it. God, I can remember the amount of times I tried grinding on Rails as Tails, and because it was so not fluky, I would keep missing. But no, the final boss for this game is one of my favorite. It is absolutely so rewarding to fight, so addicting to fight, so much fun. Yeah, the only thing I can really complain about this game, it doesn't go as strong on the story aspects and the cutscenes as the other games. There's no real big twist that's kind of like, oh, hey, Shadow, finding out more about himself, and Sonic wins, and Team Rose wins, and Chaotix are like, oh, so this was the mystery all along. So there's not really as many story components as there were in Adventure 2, and I feel that's kind of unfortunate. The one thing I think people do, rag on Sonic a lot is that that it's always that the games are kind of bad, or kind of, I honestly think these games are good, but the one thing I do have to say about Sonic Team is that they always do try something different. They do try something new almost every time, and it won't be until the Dimps era of Sonic where things just feel the same, and that's when I really lost my love for them. Even if the music is still good, it's really hard to support something that you just don't enjoy playing. But yeah. I guess on a weird aside, watching the tool-assisted speedrun of Sonic Heroes is the most insane thing I've ever seen, and one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Not only the speed, but the dialogue that takes place, because you do hear dialogue every time you switch to a new character, and I find that to be incredibly funny and entertaining. Oh my god, I forgot the Casino Night Zone in this level. It's also the music is amazing, especially Bingo Highway. Oh my god, that is just an absolute banger, like no question about it. But anyway, this is, I would say, not, a bad Sonic game by any means. Definitely one of the good ones, and definitely ones that I really do love and appreciate. I think my favorite level, again, I keep saying my favorite level was what is it, the canyon level when you're on the rails. Oh my god, so addicting, so much fun, and just the fact that you keep racing around these tracks. It's another fun memory I also have of this game is I was up north trying to use like early internet library bandwidth to download the Sonic Heroes trailer, and waiting like half an hour for the thing to load, like a minute of it, and it being like, yeah, that was worth it. Anyway, I have so many good memories of this game in general. I really can't recommend it enough. It's unfortunately though that this is kind of where each game after this is a slow, kind of detrimental tank in quality in the Sonic series, where every game after this just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. But this is still one of the good ones. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, I hope you guys play this. I hope you're a Sonic fan. You definitely play this, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.